Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sammy Ketchum, and welcome back to Sammy Ketchum TCG. Today, we are going to be taking a look at one of the newest Vivid Voltage decks from the newest set. All right. Today, we are going to be talking about Ampharos V. All right, that's right. We're going to be talking about Ampharos V. All right. Like I said before, it's from the new set Vivid Voltage. Ampharos V right now has its own deck style, based off of spreading lots of damage around the field. So with that in mind, we are going to take a look at Ampharos, his attacks, and what cards we can best pair with Ampharos in this deck. We're just gonna go ahead and get started on this. We have ourselves 3 copies of Ampharos. Ampharos is my favorite Pokemon. Yes, that's right. The boy is my favorite Pokemon. Alright, and we're going to talk about him today. He has 210 HP. It's so cute. Its first attack. This is in Japanese, but I can tell you exactly what it does. It does 50 damage, and it leaves your opponents confused. So they become confused, which it's not really that decent. It's not. The attack isn't, but his other attack is what we're going to focus on. It's for lightning colorless. All right, it does 120 damage, and then it does 30 damage to each Pokemon on your opponent's bench that already has damage counters on them. Now that's kind of tricky. So before he attacks, they have to have damage counters on them for them to get the 30 spread. All right, but there's lots of ways we can do that. All right, so we have 3 of those. All right. Then we have ourselves 2 copies of Bolton V. 2 copies of Bolton V. All right. What Bolton V does, we're gonna use him for his first attack, the Electrify attack. Search your deck for 2 lightning energies and attach them to 2 of your Pokemon in any way that you like. So we're going to use this to power up Ampharos in the beginning of the game. Alright, his second attack is not shabby either. It's Bolt Storm for a lightning and a colorless. It does 10 damage base and 30 damage for each lightning energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So this can really ramp up some damage if you have lots of energies in play. But we're really going to focus on the first attack, powering up Amphi. So this is one of the ways we're going to get him powered up to attack. Alright. We have ourselves 4 copies of Weezing and 4 copies of Coughing. All right. And we're going to use Coughing's and Weezing's ability to basically spread damage across the field during and before Ampharos gets out, and also throughout the game. And what this ability says, this ability is on both of these Pokemon. So I only need to say one of them. All right, this ability is that if you play Roxy, well, if you discard these cards with Roxy, with the supporter card Roxy from your hand during this turn, you can put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So, and we're going to get into Roxy in a little bit, but what Roxy does is that Roxy says you could discard two Pokemon from your hand, or discard cards from your hand. And if you discard Pokemon, well, you have to discard Pokemon that are non-GX, I think. And if you discard Pokemon, you can, if you discard 2 Pokemon from your hands that are not GXs, then GXs or EXs, then you draw 6 cards. So I'll show you what they do in a minute, but if you discard 2 of these, you put a damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon for each one you discard. So if you discard 2 at the same time, that's 20 damage spread to everybody. And if you end up discarding all of these, 2, 4, 6, that's a total of 80 damage spread to like everybody on the bench, active, 80 extra damage on the field. You know, I think that is just really, really nice. Really, really nice. All right. So we've got, or did I mix these up? Okay. There we go. So 4 Weezings, 4 Coughing. Okay. All right. And then we have ourselves a 2/2 line of Electrode. All right. Electrode is from the new set Vivid Voltage. All right. Its ability basically lets you knock out this Pokemon. And if you knock him out, your opponent, of course, your opponent gets a prize. You get to search your deck for 2 lightning energies and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. So what this is for is that, you know, you're going through the game after your Bolton is powered up 1, or after you've Tapu Koko'd and powered up 1 early game, you go into the late game and you may or may not have an Ampharos powered up. All right. So you sit there, you don't have an Ampharos powered up, but you need to attack and you need to spread, and you need to get the spread off to basically get KOs, you know. So this is to help you do that fast. Get energies onto your Pokemon. Yes, they take a prize, but the trade-off is that you get Ampharos powered up, and then he spreads. But then when you spread, you take prizes and knockouts. And that's the trade-off. So they're taking a prize, but you're going to be taking more prizes after you spread. That's the trade-off, you know. And that's why I kind of went in for the Electrode, you know. It's like if I didn't think I was going to trade fairly with this, then I wouldn't put it in here. Alright. So there's that. Then we have ourselves 1 copy of the Dedenne GX. It's in it for its ability, Day Change. You play it from your hand, discard your hand, draw 6. Alright. 1 copy of Crobat. Its ability, you play it from your hand, and you draw until you have up to 6 cards. So that's very good, because you could play Dedenne and Crobat the same turn, or you can play them in different turns. I've only opted for 1 or 1 of each. Usually I play like 2 Dedenne in a deck, but this deck doesn't need it, because this deck has lots of draw power. Alright, 1 copy of Tapu Koko Prism Star. It's going to be in every electric deck until it rotates. Search your discard pile for two lightning energies and attach them to two of your Pokemon on the bench in any way you like. And you also banish this card to the Lost Zone. So, very good energy acceleration, helping you get your Ampharos powered up in the early game. Alright, now on to the supporters. We have ourselves 4 copies of Roxy. Alright? And this is what I was talking about before. Alright? And what Roxy does, oh yeah, she's a rockin' chick. What Roxy does is that, yeah, discard up to 2 Pokemon that isn't or aren't Pokemon GX or EX from your hand. So you have to discard 2. And if you do, you draw 3 cards for each one. So yeah, you're drawing 6. So if you discard the Weezings, you discard the Weezings and you draw 6 cards, and then at the same time it's like you're spreading damage. So you're spreading damage and you're drawing cards at the same time. It's busted. It's freaking busted. So you spread the damage, you draw more cards, and then you get to come up and spread even more with Amphi and get that damage in there. The more spread you have on the field, the better off it is for this deck to do what it wants to do. Alright? Now that's the whole name of the game. That's the whole name of the game. Spreading love, baby. Spreading love. Alright? We have ourselves 3 copies of Marnie. She's also a rockin' chick. Alright? And what this does is that you and your opponent shuffle your hands up, put them at the bottom of the deck, and you draw 5 and your opponent draws 4. So it's a little bit of disruption. So you draw 5, they draw 4, a little bit of disruption. Their hand gets sent back to the bottom of their deck. This actually really hurts some decks that rely on the hands that they have during those certain turns, which is very good. We have ourselves 2 copies of Boss's Orders. All right, Mr. Giovanni himself. All right. You can basically switch one of your opponent's active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. Self-explanatory. It's good Gus. And in this deck, it's actually a little bit better because what you could do is you can use Boss's Orders to boss up something that you've damaged before or has lots of that you've damaged on the bench, like a lot. And then you bring them up, hit them for 120, get the knockout, and then do more spread to the bench. So, that is very good. All right, on to the items. You got 4 copies of Quick Ball. All right. Discard a card from your hand and search your deck for a basic Pokemon and add it to your hand. This could find almost every single card in this deck except for the Weezings and the Electrodes. It can find everything else. You can find your Amphis, find your Boltons, find your Dedenne, Crobat, Tapu Koko. Very good. Alright. 4 copies of Pokemon Communication. I'm actually was thinking about switching this to 4 copies of Great Ball. I might actually still do that. So, because, we really don't, Pokemon Communication is good, but I think Pokemon Communication is better when you have evolving things on the bench that you need to evolve. Well, I'd say it's good for Electrode, but I think the Great Balls would be good for the Weezings, finding the Weezings. So I may change that. So this may change the Great Balls. Great Balls of Fire. Alright. We have ourselves 4 copies of Crushing Hammer. Alright. Crushing Hammer. You flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy card attached to your opponent's Pokemon. You know, so this card is a necessary evil. I don't want to play Crushing Hammers. I actually hate Crushing Hammers. But this card is a necessary evil in this standard format that we are in. When you're playing up against decks like Eternatus, when all they have to do is get 2 energies and they're up and running, or you're playing against something like ADPZ, where they get 2 energies and go Art of Creation, this card can basically even the playing field, as we shall say. You know, they go first, they attach an energy, then they pass, you go, you Crushing Hammer, you take off that energy, they're now a turn behind. You know what I'm saying? They are now a turn behind. So this is a necessary evil that we all have to take. I think Crushing Hammer is going to be in just almost like every single deck. 4 copies of Switch. Switch are active with one of your bench Pokemon. Self-explanatory. And last but not least, for the items, 3 copies of Telescopic Sight or Telescopic Scope. Alright, now this card is really important to the spread game for Ampharos V. Alright, and what this does is that while attached to a Pokemon, when attached to a Pokemon, they take 30 the damage done to Pokemon V's and GX's on the bench, they take 30 more damage. So since you're spreading 30 to the bench with everybody with Ampharos, alright, and you have this attached, all their Pokemon V's and their Pokemon GX's on the bench take 30 more damage. So now, instead of this being 30 damage, it's 60 damage. But only to the V's and GX's. Alright, so yeah, basically they're bigger Pokemon. So if you're bigger, bulky, if you're GX Pokemon V, this will do more damage. This will help Amphy do more damage. So, you know, you ramp up that damage, and then, yeah, you're going to be able to get some really decent knockouts. So, and then we have ourselves 4 Speed Lightning Energies. Draw more cards. Alright. Attach it to one of your electric Pokemon, and you get to draw 2 cards. So that's like an extra 2 for that's like an extra 8 cards. So you're drawing 2 cards for this. You're drawing 6 cards with Roxy off the Weezings, and you're also spreading damage. Alright. And then you're drawing off Marnie. You're drawing off the DNA. You're drawing off Crobat. That's a lot of draw power. That is a lot of draw power. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we have 8 regular lightning energies, which puts us at a total of 12. Alright. I really, really like this deck. I did try the other Ampharos deck that I've been seeing going around, making its rounds. The Ampharos Orbital deck. You know, so that deck isn't too shabby either. But you know, I'm liking this. I'm trying this. You know, this is like the first kind of rough draft of the deck. There are some things that I would like to cut and switch out. Like, I would love to add Reset Stamp to this deck. I think Reset Stamp would be really, really good in here. Reset Stamp, maybe some air balloons, but, you know, this deck is pretty tight. You know, so if you like it, try it out. This is one of the newest decks from Vivid Voltage. So I also have more Vivid Voltage decks and content coming out for you guys. So make sure you check, you know, make sure you watch out and check out for that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, all right? And as always, make sure you take care of yourself and each other. Thank you.